we look at it is Wayne Smith, Wayne Buckley, Ted Goodwin, Ron Gitto, Warren Boland, Terry Lamb, Alan Neal, Jim Lease, John McLeod, Bob Cooper, John Donnelly, Jack Jeffries and Tom Arbour. And the coach, of course, Roy Masters. Started the season rather slowly, did Wayne Smith, the fullback. Took a number of matches to get into his 79 form, but has now achieved this, and his exciting running game from fullback illustrates the vast number of talented young fullbacks in Sydney football at present. On come Cronulla, led by their skipper, Greg Pearce, and this is the full side. Rick Burke, Chris Gardner, Ozzie Welsh, Steve Rogers, Steve Edmonds, Greg Mullane, Greg Cox, Scott Dudman, Kurt Sorensen, Greg Pearce, Dane Sorensen, Barry Pearson, Paul Kahn. Edmonds in number 14. Kurt Sorensen, you can be sure, will have a very substantial hand in the outcome of today's game. Probably one of the 5 hardest players to tackle in Sydney Rugby League football. His strength, bulk and pace make him a formidable opponent. The referee in today's fixture is Mr. Jack Danzy. And a quick look at the statistics of these two sides will tell us that since 1970 they've played 25 games. Now listen to this for a line ball. Cronulla have won 12, Wests have won 12, and they've drawn 1. The points for Pigeon Pair, Cronulla 387, Wests 366. Very marginal difference. Since 1970 there have been 12 games at Lidcombe between these two. Cronulla have won 6, Wests have won 6. Western Suburbs running into the sun as Neil gets the kick-off, taken there by Kurt Sorensen. He's slammed to the ground 10 metres outside his quarter. And what a pleasure it is to see rugby league being played on a Sunday. And the ground an absolute picture. Masses of streamers and coloured paper are on the northern end of the ground. Huge amount of it. Cronulla running from left to right in the light blue and dark blue and white uniform. Western Suburbs in their traditional uniforms of black and white. Referee Danzy missed the fact that Sorensen was upended there after the tackle. Paul Kahn just on the quarter. Good West defence. And there's a penalty against West inside the 5. First penalty of the match, Steve Rogers, and what a pleasure it is to see this and hear that this fellow is totally fit again, and he's as dedicated to having a top game today as at any time I've ever known him. I think that criticism has stung him. There he is. Greg Mullane getting his first touch of the ball, playing as 5'8", multi-talented. Pearce, Kurt Sorensen very wide, Burke chiming into the attack. Cronulla style very much in evidence already. Kahn playing very wide of the rucks. And out along the 3/4 line she goes and running him around. The half break back inside to Welsh. He drops the ball. Western Suburbs have it through Buckley, and there's a bit of a whack going on there as they come steaming in. This is absolutely the normal thing between these two sides. They seem to loathe each other. Gitto and Kahn were the two protagonists. Kahn slowly to his feet. Touch judge in. Let's see it again. Maybe we were following the ball with our camera. I was watching it not on the monitor at that time, but see it. Cameras didn't capture that. It was following the ball. That happened just slightly behind the play. Only a bit of a punch-up, nothing in the way of... well, it was a legal play, certainly, but not foul play. The penalty went to Cronulla. I think Mr. Danzy's going to be his hands full today. Sorensen, there's a bit of a punch went in there from number 10, Bobby Cooper. Pearce, the switch of play back on the other side of the ruck. Greg Cox has found a slight opening and squeezed himself through it just over the halfway line. Kurt Sorensen. Pearce Dudman.
Paul Kahn had another look at the linesman then. He was hindered as he raced after that ball by West prop Tom Arbour, but the linesman took no action.
The voice of Barry Ross, who's on the sideline. And Barry will be talking to some people through this match. Oh, solid body contact there. A mighty tackle from Tom Arbour. Stopped Burke dead in his tracks. Cox, Pearce, the dummy. And that's the 6. Noticeable the free-flowing style that Cronulla adopted. Goes out along the back line quickly. It comes back. They have their big prop forward and ball distributor, Paul Kahn, standing very wide of the rucks. And that's a scrum win to West. It's knocked out of the hands of Neil. Buckley scoops it up. Dudman's knocked him to the ground. And it's been picked up that Rogers has moved into the 5'8" spot early on. Teddy Goodwin through the gap up to halfway. Crawled along the ground for a few yards. Jeffries. Jim Leese, the Australian rep, got his pass back to Jeffries. No knock on, knocked it behind him, and he was able to scoot back and fall on it. Arbour to halfway. Jeffries, switch of play. Goodwin. Pass there to Cooper, looked a marginal one, but the referee says play on as he gets it away to Wayne Smith. Fullback always ready to come into the three-quarter line. Neil. Goodwin not going forward. Now they are. McLeod. He's belted to the ground about 12 metres inside Cronulla's half. This telecast brought to you by Westco Motors and your local Mazda dealers. Lamb. With 5'8" in this West lineup. Goodwin at dummy half. Boland. Skipper from the right wing. He'll be liable to pop up anywhere. Dallas Donnelly back inside to Neil. Neil's got the break. Oh, and caught by the collar. Literally by the jumper by Sorensen. He's flashing his feet around a little bit there. There's big Tom Arbour, who's had a strong game against Newtown the weekend before last. Lamb. Change of direction. Gets a bit of a push in the back, but pushed through the defence there by McLeod, who came and knocked him in the back. That's a funny one. Good one. Good-looking bomb. Who's got it? Has Cooper got to it? Knocked on. Oh, bless my soul, that was close. Maybe the head-on shot will show just what was going on in that one. Let's see it again. There it is, very high, and through they surge. Cooper certainly got to it, but the referee says it'll be knocked on before he fell on it. It's the ruling.
There's Alan Neil over on the sideline near the Cronulla 22, having treatment to a hand, maybe a dislocation.
And there's a penalty. Walking off the mark against Sorensen. The ball was thrown back a few yards. That's silly. That kick could have been taken another 10 metres. Indeed, his record is pretty impressive. 21 goals from 31 attempts, success rate of 67.7%. In addition, 5 tries. So that's 57 points so far in the premiership. That's just after the halfway mark. That's pretty good going. Here it is. Straight as the narrow. And over she goes. And first blood for the Magpies. They lead by 2 points to 0.
They lead to 2-0.
Doing our usual awards today. The player we judge to be the best player in this match will appear on Sports World next Sunday on ATN and receive $400 and be interviewed. Then he'll be in line for judging with all the other weekly award winners. At the end of the year, the player we judge to be the Channel 7 Big League Footballer of the Year will come up with a magnificent prize, a Mazda RX-7 sports car. Terrific. And of course the man responsible for the try of the match will receive $150. the year's end. All those weekly award winners will be judged. Lamb got the better of that little ploy, and Pearson has pulled Cox away, who had the ball knocked out of his hands there. A little bit of gamesmanship. It results in a scrum. So that the player we judge to be the man responsible for the most attractive try of the year, the best try of the year, will receive a terrific Mazda 626 Coupe valued at $7,000. Penalty opportunity now for Cronulla. Scrum penalty. Steve Rogers now from only about 11 metres short of the halfway line. There's his record. 14 goals from 28 attempts. That's exactly 50%. 3 tries. 37 points tally. He's about 22 metres in from the sideline. It's just squeezed away slightly to the left, missed by about 5 feet. Score remains as it was. West 2, Cronulla 0. Quick put in by Neil. Scoops the ball up. Lease. Lamb. Heavily tackled. Lane and we pierce the 2 men. Good one held by one leg. It's Cooper. Good run up towards halfway. Can't get his arms through. That was a good ball and all tackle from Gardner. Neil. Good one. A bit of a smack across the face there as he came back inside. Pearson at dummy half. Lease. Lease with a little kick through. It's giving it back to them. That's not a good one. Burke has it. Lease is after him and he evades him. Jimmy Lease will need to look at that kick again. That's not the sort of kick that's required. There's the power of that Sorensen man. 3 of them at him and they couldn't put him there. Pierce. Cox swivels around, goes on his own, makes a good break. Up towards halfway, 1 metre from there. Plays it. Pearson. West's a little bit slow to recover. Arbour still coming back on side.
Yes, Arbour was just involved with a little disagreement with Kurt Sorensen. The linesman did run on, but came off again, and perhaps we'll see him on again in a moment to report that.
Sorensen standing up in the tackle. Kurt. On the blind side they go. Khan. Oh, beautiful pass, and Rogers leaves it alone, or leaves it behind. On comes the touch judge, sprinting. I'm sure Gavin Miller is pretty happy with the change he's made this year. What's the story there, Barry?
Gavin, a change of clubs this year from East to Cronulla Racine. You made the Sydney second side. When you left East, was there any reason? Was there any animosity between you and the club?
No, I don't think there was any animosity, Barry. I just think that I wasn't part of Bob Fulton's rebuilding plan for the 1980 season, and I think that summed it up.
That wind down there, Barry, is there any effect on play?
It's favouring Cronulla. It's not all that strong, but certainly I think if the ball was given a bit of air, it will gain ground for the side.
Lamb. Beautiful pass out to Goodwin. Dummy to pass inside, got it to Buckley. Buckley stays away from the sideline. Well done. He's up to the quarter. It's a good run by little Lamb. Gitto. Lease came under a tackle on the quarter line. John Donnelly not been involved all that much up to now. Pretty quiet opening after 17 minutes with West leading 2-0. There's Arbour on the burst now. Off a switch in play from Jeffries. Jeffries at number 12. Neil. Back inside to Goodwin. That pass looked a little bit marginal. It's been left behind. Picked up by Neil. Very quick. I thought there was an element of doubt about one of the early passes in that move. The pass from Neil back inside, but we'll see it again. Arbour, Jeffries, now Neil. Watch him. That pass there, to me, looked a mite forward. The pass was thrown away by Goodwin, and Neil was able to get to it, pick it up, and over he went. Head on. Now watch this one. Goodwin gets a pass away, intending to get to Lease. It went to ground, and that's a bit slack by Cronulla. to leave an opening there of that dimension. Now that'll give you an idea of the curvature of a portion of this ground, as our backpack camera is directly behind. G'day's kick is magnificent. Spot on. Right over the black dot. So then, Western Suburbs 7, Cronulla 0 after 17.5 minutes. Kick-off taken by Boland. Oh, and he makes some good ground there. A bit slow to move up, Cronulla. McLeod. That's the first line. Had support on the outside, but couldn't get his arms position pass. Donnelly up to halfway now. They've made 28 metres and 3 play the balls. That's not good defence by Cronulla. The blind side they go, Neil. He's made more than 28 metres. Look at him tearing his way up the blind side. Look, brother kick through in the middle. This will be a try. Oh, he's knocked it on. He only needed to touch it with his leg, keep his hands away from it. Wayne Smith. Well, it didn't come up high enough, in my view, for him to attempt to pick that up. He just needed to knock it with any part of his body, apart from his arms and hands, and it would have been a lay-down Mazaire try. Probably still score. No, Lamb has picked off nicely, and Cronulla looking very vulnerable at the moment. Lease, Neil, Gitto, dummies. He's going to score on his own. Oh, they're carving him up at the moment. Cronulla with open rider. 10-0 after 18 and a bit minutes. Gitto, on that occasion. See it again. I thought he'd bombed it when he threw the dummy, but they all took it. There were great gaping holes there up to as he threw the dummy. Watch this, and everyone running. Look at them. By the defence so easily. Welsh badly took that there. Rick Burke was probably, he'd gone across a little bit further. 5 tries from 11 games, Gitto. That's useful in conjunction with his goal kicking. This is Gitto. 3 metres inside the quarter, about 18 metres in from the sideline. Third attempted goal. And 3 from 3 for Gitto. 12 points to 0. Cronulla in desperate trouble. The kick-off dropped by Lease, and the referee ruling that it was a knock-on, that the ball was propelled towards the opponent's goal line. West's 1, Cronulla 4. That's the errors, the situation that a number of times each side's given the ball back to the opposition, and it shows, doesn't it? And the scrum win. The scrums at this side are massive, 6-2 in West's favour. Jeffrey's giving Pearson a hooking lesson. Penalties favour Cronulla 3-1. Jeffries, Donnelly. Busts the first line up to the quarter. McLeod. Look at this. They're finding so many holes. There's a pass going to Lamb, and he miraculously took that. Being held down, I thought the referee might have been conned by Lamb there. I thought he had hold of Paul Kahn and wouldn't let him off. Score, strike 2 to young Lamb. He's learning fast. A good one. Kick is a good one. Earlier matches today resulted in reserve grade. Cronulla 17 defeating Western Suburbs 13. And in the under-23s, West's 18 defeating Cronulla 9. And West's first grade on the boil at the moment, finding all sorts of gaps in this Cronulla defence. They're leading 12 points to 0 with 17 minutes to half-time. They've got the ball back now. No, they haven't. Had it and lost it. The scrum about 8 metres outside the Cronulla quarter. And they've got to do something about this possession situation. It's eroding their chances of going further in this competition. There's a penalty against Wests for moving off the mark. Rogers. That's a towering kick and a fine one. We're looking at about a 48-metre game there.
Parallel 5, parallel 4.
Edmonds. They need a try and bad.
Hey, Dad.
Dane Sorensen. Cooper over the top. Beautiful pass to Burke. He's found the gap. He probably scored. He doesn't. He gets it to Dudman. Dudman's tackled a metre short. The lock forward. Should have been a penalty. Oh, he's made a meal of that as Goodwin. Pearce had no opportunity to pass. The defence had got up past him. Oh, Cox is... no, it's not Cox. Who is it? Dudman?
Maybe Barry Pearson, is it? Dudman.
No, Rick Burke. He got actually over the line by the look of it and was pushed back. Now we've got a touch judge in. This business of players mauling tackle players and not allowing them to get to their feet is just becoming farcical. I thought Teddy Goodwin was going to do the light fantastic on top of Burke there, on top of Dudman a minute ago. Yes, I mean, this sort of thing. Let's see it again. It looks, this is alien to the game of rugby league. Now look at it. The rule stipulates that a player must be immediately released, allowed to face his opponent's goal line, and are held down by 3 on that occasion. Only about 20 metres out, but he's about 23 metres off centre. And he's drawn first blood for Cronulla. And they needed that badly. West 12, Cronulla 2. There's a scrum win to Western Suburbs. Neil picks it up around the blind side. Those scrums 7-2 in West's favour. The penalties are 5-2 in Cronulla's favour. Barber. McLeod. Dummied. Pulled away nicely to Jeffries. Jeffries has got it to Lease. Lease is going nicely. Sorensen's got him by the jumper and cracks him like a whip. Threw him to the ground. Now, Cronulla still got 8 players offside as Lamb comes on the surge. Cronulla really defensive situation at the moment. McLeod. Good one. His pass knocked down. Picked up by Gardner. It'll be a knock on. Brought back. Goodwin trying to do one of his famous lob passes there. When they come off, they look great. When they don't, they can get you into a bit of trouble. Penalty, Cronulla. Feet across against Jeffries. There might be food for thought about this Cronulla team getting an additional hooker in the ranks, Barry Ross.
Well, we all know how good the one they had last year was, John McMartin. He's said that he wouldn't play again, but who knows? And it wasn't only Cronulla that were after him at the big season.
Gardner, the run around there. And Pearce. Cox. Oh, bless me. Dudman. It's a switcher play. Oh, it's getting very complicated. They're not going forward. The pass has finally gone to ground. Evans has got it. And the sum total of that move was zilch. They lost about 8 metres. That move was just a little bit too complex in my view. Greg Cox wasn't a great pass. It came low, but let's have a look at this Pearson hooking record. 194 from 202, success rate 46.5%. Well, anything under 50%, of course, is not considered good enough. There's an incorrect feed against Neil, another penalty to the Cronulla team. Rogers has found a fine touch. That's up there inside the west quarter. Pearson, Dane Sorensen, not able to get his arms free in this match and unload. Pearson, Cox, Pearce, wrapped up with one of those Cronulla moves that has not come off. Steve Rogers. He's slammed hard to the ground. Teddy Goodwin's the man underneath him. That's a penalty against Goodwin for kicking the ball out of Khan's hands. And Khan has a few words to say to Goodwin. Well, Ted, I think, is... well, he's taken the odds to it. He didn't get away with it. Fair enough. There you are. There's a look at the Cronulla skipper, Greg Pearce. A freak, in my view. A guy that should never have played football again after that fright he sustained in the Kangaroo Tour. Age 30. Height and weight, you can see. Premiership games, 221. It's approaching the Fred Dennehy record of 228. Points scored, 99. Seasons in Sydney football, all there. Greg Pearce. Rogers strikes that beautifully, and the score diminishes by a rather foolish penalty. 12-4. West's leading with about 8 minutes to half-time. Guiteau's kick. Well, who's got it? Well, they made a mess of it, Cronulla trying to get possession of it. So that's as good as a scrum win to Western Suburbs. Guiteau's kick was very well judged. Another scrum win to Wests. 8-2. They're going to have to do something about this because Cronulla are slowly falling apart under the constant attacking barrage from Western Suburbs. Lease slips. Cloud. Dallas Donnelly up to the quarter line. Neil, Goodwin, back inside to Cooper. On the quarter line, last tackle. Goodwin, another kick. There she goes. The toe pointed high in the air. Rick Burke stands his ground. Took it, I think. I don't know who's got that. Well, that was a magnificent catch. Rick Burke stood his ground beautifully there. Greg Cox. Sorensen. A line running from dummy half. Greg Cox. Khan. Nice pass to Burke, who gets himself partly through the opening up to the quarter line. Last tackle coming up. Khan. Beautiful pass out there to Gardner. Gardner's got some pace too. Goes round his man and he lobs him back on the inside. There's a try. Oh no, he's left it too late. They butchered another one. Well, I don't know that Dudman, who was backing up on the inside, would have been able to sprint the last 25 metres and outdistance the support the defence, but really they would have certainly been another 15 or 18 metres upfield. I think Gardner erred badly not unloading earlier.
What a great pass from Paul Khan.
Beautiful. And a penalty against Western Suburbs half Neil. He's going to be spoken to. Now, he ran foul of a referee several weeks ago. Barry, which was the referee? Do you remember?
I don't recall, Rex.
I don't think it was Danzy. Now, we might reach a situation.
I think it was the South Sydney game when he had to be replaced at halfback.
Yes, that was correct. He's been penalised, as far as I'm aware, 3 times for incorrect feed now. That might be getting him near the Z zone. For persistent infringements. Ask Les Boyd. He was sent off in New Zealand for that on that basis. Not for incorrect feeding, but for persistent infringements. Yes, now there's an interesting thing. If we get a quick shot, a close-up shot there of the referee and the captain, Warren Boland, who's come in, and probably the dialogue went like, well, sir, what's Alan Neil doing incorrectly? He's been told, and we would assume that Boland might say something to Neil. Those players from West need to stop still. A kick from Rogers has gone over the dead ball line, unsuccessful. 12-4. Amazes me to see players walking around, and it amazes me too to see referees not penalising players for being still when a man's kicking at goal. The rules stipulate that they should be.
Harking back to that referee that gave Alan Neil the torrid time against South Sydney, I believe it was Kevin Roberts.
Kevin Roberts. Greg Cox is now wheeling and dealing there. A little pirouette, got him another 15 metres. May have been an error. Well, the official clock on the ground is only a couple of minutes to go to half-time. I'm showing 3 minutes. There's the error count. Cronulla 7, Wests 4. Well, keep your head down when you come on the burst like that, my lad. Big day, Kurt Sorensen. Paul Kahn. He's pulled off a couple of magic passes in today's game. They've both come to nothing. Rogers. Up goes the bomb. It's not a bad-looking one. Woods. Who's got it? 6 to go. Cronulla will come up with the ball. There's a handy one. No, West have come up with the ball. There was no need to have 6 to go, was there? Donnelly back inside to John McLeod. The pass has gone astray. Jeffries has fallen on it. There'll be a scrum. By the official clock, we have about 25 seconds to half-time.
9, Manly 9.
There's the Jack Jeffries hooking record. That's a little bit better than Pearson's, isn't it? 194 from 192. Success rate of 49%. As Neil comes away from that scrum, and that's an incredible 9 to 2 the scrums now in West favour. As the hooter goes in the background, Boland's got the ball, the long kick, it's a kick and chase now. Goodwin's after it, Rogers is after it, they're all chasing. Rogers gets to it, loses it, and now he's got it finally. And might have got a few knees in that lot. Is he going to be able to get up? He's down, and he saved his side another 5-pointer there. And there's the time, the score at half-time. Western Suburbs 12, Cronulla 4. The scorers for the Western Suburbs side have been Alan Neil a try and Ron Gitto a try, and he's kicked 3 goals from 3 attempts. For the Cronulla team, there have been only the couple of points scored, or a couple of goals scored, both by Steve Rogers, and it's 12 points to 4 at half-time. Rogers' success has been 2 from 4. Now, I consider that in the 17th minute and the 19th minute of this first half, there came the turning point of this game. Obviously, that's a statement that I'm going to back up by saying that Neil scored in the 17th minute and Gitto scored in the 19th minute. Let's see those tries again. Jeffries at number 12. Neil, back inside to Goodwin. That pass looked a little bit marginal. It's been left behind, picked up by Neil. Neil's in with a try. Cronulla looking very vulnerable at the moment. Lease, Neil, Gitto, dummies. He's going to score on his own. Oh, they're coming up the middle of open rider. Well, that's it for the first 40 minutes. We'll take a break and we'll be back with all the action of the second half of Sevens Big League in just a moment. Well, as the sides come back on the field, Barry Ross has been in both the dressing rooms, and Barry, I'm not trying to second guess, and I don't know what you've told, what they've said in there, but I'm sure there will have been a change in the hooking job. A side that's down 9-2 and the set scrums at half-time can't go on with the same setup in the second half. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you're right, Rex. Roland Beckett, the local junior for Cronulla, is on in the hooking position instead of Barry Pearson. Cronulla just couldn't get the ball, as you said, in that first half, and there lays the story of the game. Tommy Bishop was aware of this, and probably the change was made, although they did say that Barry Pearson has a slight neck injury. Bishop wants the side to hold the ball too, because they've made breaks, Rex. You can remember 2 or 3 breaks when Khan put Gardner on the way down the right wing, and no try led, and this has got to change in the second half.
Well, Khan has put them through on 2 occasions, once to Gardner and once to Dudman, and Dudman on... There is the replacement, Roland Beckett, is he? Number 18. At the back there, the dark-headed little fellow. Oh, good husky boy, actually, but not very... Oh, well caught. Well, there you are. There's the slip catch. They've specialised in them, this Western Suburbs team. That was McLeod.
Getting back, Rex, to what was said in the dressing room, Roy Masters is going to use the sun this half. It's such a great day here on the shortest day of the year, but there's a lot of sun, and he's going to kick to Cronulla's right side of the field, West's left side of the field, to use that sun with the high ball. He is also very aware of the danger of Paul Khan, and they've got to get up to him quickly, 2 or 3 men in the tackle.
Well, that's the story from the dressing rooms, from Barry Ross, who was in both of them. And the first penalty of the second half. And the second half, well, the initial tally was 9-2, which is a complete opposite of what the scrum tally was. 9-2 to West. The penalties are 9-2 to Cronulla. So now they're 10-2. That's a pretty massive penalty total. Cronulla have got to show something and show it fairly rapidly, otherwise I feel this Western Suburbs well-drilled side will carve them up. Cox, the switch of play to Pearce. Pearce sights an opening and tries to go through and gets half through too. Into the quarter. Pearce still, to my mind, or my eye, has a little trouble getting to his feet. Oh, a flick pass from Khan to Cox was much too quick and much too unfair, and the ball went to ground. West have come up with it again. Good one. Barber. Ball lost. Cronulla has it through, I think, Edmonds. Now there's Beckett, first touch to Dane Sorensen, Kurt Sorensen. Beckett a dummy half. Cox, Pearce, who will flog himself mercilessly in this second half. He's a captain that hates to lose and always gives a maximum effort. Dane Sorensen. 12-4, that's a big deficit. That's what Cronulla are facing. Oh, Welsh gets well and surely buried there. It was a top tackle by Gitto, who's had a very powerful game for West. Well, Rogers had one of those terrible things happen to him. He went for the kick, and just as he kicked it, somebody tapped his leg and the foot didn't make contact with the ball. And, well, as much as you could, Rogers was made look stupid, but, I mean, it wasn't his fault. Neil. Swung to the ground and a tough tackle by Khan. He gets up and I think he's a bit disorientated. He got up and shook his head. Cooper. Beautiful pass out to Smith, who's got them on the left. Going up well. Cox is coming across and cover defence. Smith comes back inside and loads the ball. It's on the ground. No knock-on, says the referee. It's back to Goodwin. Goodwin's accelerating, running powerfully, looking for support. Gets a right foot kick ahead. Lisa's trying to get to it. It's been knocked away by Edmonds over the sideline, and that was a spectacular bit of play by Western Suburbs. Well, now, West's right in the area they like to be, planted firmly in the opposition's quarter, with every chance of winning the scrum. Well, Beckett's come up with his first scrum win. Rogers, Burke, Cross field. Oh, he's had the ball stolen from him by Gitto, and West are back in possession again. Bowen, the pass has gone astray. Now it's out to Big Donnelly. 20 metres out, tries a sidestep. Doesn't come on. Come off. Jeffries, Armour. The referee can have a bit of a look behind him there. Some of the Cronulla players on the blind side are way offside. Gitto, only about 8 metres away. Jeffries. Good one. Oh, he came hard, and McLeod on the outside was screaming for the ball. Jeffries. Neal to Lamb. Lamb wrapped up straight away. That's better Cronulla defence, and that's the 6th. Well, they're really contributing to their own downfall. They can't keep that ball for long enough periods, and they're not getting enough of it to squander. And a penalty to Cronulla. An altercation starting to develop here as
Steve Rogers down in the background, the Cronulla trainer on now to him.
Yes, Steve Rogers sitting down there, and it could be something to do with the right leg.
Manning 11, Penrith 9.
Well,
North Sydney 9, Eastern Suburbs 5.
Buckley made a valiant attempt then to touch that ball in flight, which would have then brought about a scrum instead of a tap restart. 5 metres from halfway come Cronulla. We've had 5.5 minutes of this. Khan leaves it behind. Knock on, I think. We're not playing English rules. And another scrum into Beckett. These turn things around. But they're only keeping it for about three tackles on each occasion. Burke. Both the Sorensens being pretty well handled. There's Dane. Top tackle there from McLeod, who's very much a goer in this Western Suburbs pack. Beckett. Cox. Khan. But he's passed away nicely to Beckett. He's a pretty useful player on the open, isn't he? Haven't seen a lot of him.
Very good player in the open, Roland Beckett.
Local junior?
Yes.
Pearce. And the ball on the ground again. Western Suburbs have scooped it again. And he scoots off and makes a good gain of about 15 metres. Gitto. Gets up and plays it forward, and they're back 10 metres from Cronulla's quarter, and the pressure comes on again. Jeffries on the blind side to Lease, out there to Buckley, who kicks ahead, and the bounce is favourable for Burke, but he's caught by Buckley.
Steve Rogers is on his feet now, but living obviously there, so that we might see a change later on in the game in that position for Cronulla.
Well, Gardner running cross field, not making any forward progress at all, just making himself a sitting duck for the opposition defence. Welsh, centre number 3. Kurt Sorensen. West forwards handle the Sorensens better than most other packs around Sydney. Can't. You've got to pass away, but who's got last tackle coming up? I think
Cronulla still have the ball.
Yeah, Pearce may have been able, was it Burke may have been able to fall on that. Well, by former great hook with Cronulla, and probably one of the best never to represent Australia.
John, last year Cronulla had no troubles at all with possession, but this year they're getting well below 50. But running side like Cronulla, that's a big problem. Will you play again this year?
No, Barry, it's a bit late now to consider having a game. It takes several weeks to get fit again, and by then the season will be over, so there's no possibility of playing.
The press half. Actually, it's only the third of the match they've had. It's on the quarter line. And the penalty tally at this point is Cronulla 11, West's 3. Scrums, West's 9, Cronulla 4. maybe not 20 metres in, maybe 15 metres in from the sideline. Fourth attempt, he's had 3 successes. Oh, that's a great goal. Look at that. Just judges to perfection. 14-4. And Gino well on the way to being the man of the match with his goal kicking and the good try that he scored. And now it's really hard dues. Here's McLeod having a strong game. Busts another tackle. And loaded nicely to Lease. It's out to Buckley. Western Suburbs playing their spectacular stuff now as Buckley's finally wrapped up by 2 of them. Neil. Arbour, who's been an instant success with this Magpies pack. Jim Lease, Buckley. Knock on there. Steve Rogers appears to be okay now. He's not limping. Very much as though this Western Suburbs... Oh, well taken, Lamb. Western Suburbs record. Oh, Buckley's come inside off a Lamb pass, and the pass from him is a bad one. Welsh has it. Off a little pass from Lamb, the 5'8", busted them wide open. Cronulla's free-flowing style is falling in a heap under this torrid defensive barrage that West give them, allied to the massive amount of possession that Wests have had. Greg Cox. Khan. Welsh. He's busted the defence, unloads nicely. It's out to Gardner. He hurdles one player. Back inside to Burke. Burke steps out of a tackle. He's gone round the back and the defence comes to him now. That was more like Cronulla. Now, Wests are in disarray. Neil's yards and yards offside. Yards offside. Lob pass over the top. Who's got it? Wests have come up with it.
Boland got to the ball first and it went backwards off him, and one of his Western Suburbs teammates fell on Tom Arbour.
Tom Arbour. This Arbour down in back play over there being treated by the trainer. Cooper. Oh, a flick that looked as though it was flicked forward, but Boland has it. Cooper gets up, rubbing his left knee furiously. Goodwin. Lamb leaves it behind. Cronulla have come up with the ball, I think. Goodwin tried to steal it. He did steal it, and he's been penalised for it. So with Rogers a big deep breath as he concentrates on this. You can see the magnificent day as he moves in now. Just there on the inside of the right hand upright, so the score then marginally short, 14-6, and he gets up holding his back. There's a good kick. Cooper goes high. Wests have got it again from the kickoff. Cooper went high, knocked it backwards, and Buckley came to it. Donnelly showed the ball on the inside and went on his own.
That was directly into the sun, that kick-off. Very hard to see.
Now Arbour playing powerfully. Jeffries, Neil, Lamb, Gitto, back inside to Goodwin. Now then to Smith. Smith unloads a pass. It's gone to ground. I thought that Bowler may have been tackled without the ball then. I think he thinks he was tackled without the ball too. There's a scrum win, another one. That's the first of the second half to Western Suburbs. Lamb away to Boland. And the ball's gone astray, and that'll be a knock-on. Unless Cronulla come up with it, and they do. Cox. Lane. Well, this Cronulla side in disarray at the moment. They not That's a penalty, surely. It is. The player who tackled Mullane then was not marking up in front. He was on the side. Rogers will take the kick for touch. Well, it's as good a kick as you could expect. It's only about an 18-metre gain. Perhaps less, 16 metres, but he was kicking right from the middle of the field. West forwards have dominated this game with the power and strength. There's a stupid pass gone astray. Dudman finally falls on it. Rogers. Well, Burke took that pass well. How he took it, I'll never know from Sorensen. It was belted at him. Rogers goes the blind side. Pearce nicely out to Edmonds. Rogers, Khan, Mullane, 10 metres inside West's half. Get up and played it forward. And that's the 6th. So the 3 scrums in the second half, it's been 2 to Cronulla, 1 to West, but the first half scrums went massively 11 to 2 in 9 to 2 in favour of the Western Suburbs team.
Manly 18, Penrith 9.
And a scrum penalty against Cronulla for collapsing the scrum for Owen Beckett, last man up, signifying that he was first man down. Buckley kicking for touch. He's not going to find it. Down Burke's throat. That was a good catch into the dying sun. Burke evades 2, 3. Up over halfway. Top run. Neil getting a bit of a snipe at him there. Mullane. Out to Welsh. Welsh goes hard, and that's a good run. The Cronulla line nice and deep. There's a penalty against Lamb for failing to get off the tackle player. I'd love to see the referees keep this up consistently in every game, in every grade. Barry Ross?
Yes, there's no doubt it's a blot on the game.
There's a fine kick with no angle at all to kick for. He's made a very sweet 20 metres. Now, Cronulla, if they're going to do anything, have got to do it in the next few minutes. I don't feel they've got the power. I get an impression this West pack have got them a bit overruled. They're too rough, they're too tough, they're too big, and they're too strong. And they're hurting them. Khan, Cox, bad pass, but a nice bounce. No, it's not. Yes, it is for Mullane. He finally was able to fall on it. A net loss of about 5 metres. Cox. Referee Danzy paying some attention to the 5 yards there. Dudman. Good defence. Knocked sideways. Uncompromising from McLeod. Cox. Khan. Lovely pass again to Rogers, who came straight off his shoulder. Khan, there's no doubt about it, there are a few better unloaders of the ball than this man. Important scrum. Cronulla need to have some continuity of possession. Well, they're not going to get it this time. It's another West ball. And a penalty against Cox for failing to retire. Ted Goodwin. Just outside their quarter come Western Suburbs. 14 points to 6 they lead. We figure about 21 minutes to go. Cronulla showing little sign of bridging this gap. McLeod. Strong going. Just goes a little bit in fits and starts. Not a real goer in the sense of being involved all the time. Good one. The dummy takes the tackle. There's the error situation. West's 11, Cronulla 13. The kick through is to Burke. He's taken it beautifully and come up with a strong run, as he's done all day. Tommy Bishop, the Cronulla coach, would be, I think, very displeased with this performance by his team. The forwards have not had the authority one would expect. Greg Cox, well, they help him to steal another 5 metres. He'll get up and play it forward, which he does. I noticed Greg Cox in the dressing room. Barry Ross, without his jersey on, is a much bigger boy up the top, up shoulders way, around the chest.
Maybe using the new hydrogen equipment that they have at Cronulla.
It could well be. He's certainly a really muscular young man, always well built, but very big now. Now there's a scrum win to Cronulla, and Cox has got nowhere to go but on his own, because the backs were standing so flat.
8,101.
Edmonds.
8,101.
Khan. Back inside. Sorensen leaves it behind, but no knock on. Picks it up. And he got it away to Beckett. Beckett then to Rogers. Rogers, oh! For one moment, one thought of him going through that gap with that blistering acceleration of his. But Lease was there. Good pass. Oh, it's not. Missed the man it was intended for. Oh! Good one off. I missed that. I was following the play.
He tackled Kurt Sorensen without the ball. Cox threw the pass intended for Sorensen, and Sorensen ran on the ball, and Goodwin hit him without the ball, and very dangerous.
Well, let's have a look again and see if we can see it. Watch Goodwin come from the right. Yes, it was more of an elbow. Looked like arms up very high. This will be an important one. He struck it nicely. It's just to the left. Smith has it. And he's got himself right through the gap. Got it away to McLeod. McLeod's got it then on to Gitto. Gitto there to Cooper. Cooper's streaming away. A nice pass to Neil. Look at this stuff from Western Suburbs. Neil comes back on inside, and he had Buckley on the outside. Bad work, Neil.
Ball should have gone straight outside then.
Lamb. And that could have been a try to Buckley on the left-hand side had Neil just unloaded at that correct moment. Neil, he's changing direction again, switches it out to Wayne Smith. That pass looked a bit marginal. There's Lamb, stood up in a tackle. Very powerful little fellow this. He's only short in stature, but heavens, he's got a bit of power in that little body. Lease, Cooper. Now Buckley. Gets up and goes again on his knees for the first 5 metres. Attention building now. The crowd becoming a bit electric as they sense a Western Suburbs try. McLeod taken high, but not illegally. The last tackle coming up. Jeffries. Neil. He's kicked it high. Oh, it's gone back inside. It'll be a try, will it? No. It's a line drop out. Oh, Rick Burke, you're blessed. He managed to do a full stop, better brakes, and turn and go back the other way. How close was it? See it again. Now here's the kick. Look at this. He's had to change direction and come back the other way. That's how close it was. Now West's in possession as we go back to the live action on the quarter line. And they're starting to, as often happens when a team's got a player sent off, they've steamed themselves up. Neil, out to Cooper. Cooper goes sideways, half through the gap. Unloads nicely to Lamb. Lamb with that good little step of his. Evades one, two tacklers. Tackle. Jeffries. Gitto. Oh, he's decked. He's off. Kurt Sorensen's off. A high tackle. And there's Harbour patting Sorensen on the back and saying, off you go, mate. So let's see that again. Now, Gitto. Yes, that's a bad one. No argument about that. The crowd reacted very adversely to this too. They're booing Sorensen off the field. See it again from head on. Oh yes, that was a nasty one. May we say that he's almost a laydown was there to kick this one from directly in front. Funny game, goal kicking. Here he goes. He's missed it. You wouldn't believe that, would you? You wouldn't believe that. Well, I don't know. A man should never... I always hedge his bet. Thankfully, I did. 14-6, the score remains. 4 minutes to go. 14-6, the score. West Way. They've been the better side throughout. That pass looked forward. On to Arbour from Donnelly. The blind side, Neil. That was a bad pass. Knock on, of course, as Cooper came surging away. (8,101) spectators here at Lidcombe Oval on a superb day. Almost windless conditions now. There was a little bit of breeze in the early part. Scrum. 1 to Cronulla. Rick Burke. Well, it's only 12 aside now with the 2 off. Rogers. Unloaded to Welsh. Welsh through 1 tackle, stumbles. Put him up quick. You can hear Danzy's voice in the background. Rogers. Pearce. Mullane. Yes, I'm told that Jim Lease has a very bad cut on his head. There's a knock-on. And really, Cronulla have looked anything but premiership material today. It's been a very ordinary performance from them.
Manly 18, Penrith 14. Canterbury 17, Newtown 5.
The scrum win to
North Sydney
Cronulla.
7, Eastern Suburbs 7.
Mullane going around the blind side there. Rogers in dummy half. Greg Pearce. Cox. Khan. His pass is knocked down, it's kicked through, and it's knocked on by Burke. Lamb came up and harassed him. There was really not a lot of blame attached to Rick Burke there because the ball came to him so quickly and unexpectedly from a kick along the ground that it was always going to be knocked on.
Jim Lease in the outside centre position now that West are 1 short, and as you said, Rex, he has got a bad cut in his face, and also the other centre, Ron Gitto, has got a lot.
There's a bit of a punch-up starting here. The boys the natives are getting a bit restless again. We might have a few more walk for this. Little Lamb there getting mixed in, and he came out looking like a small bantam rooster. There was the slight eruption. You can see Dane Sorensen having a bit of a chop at Donnelly. They're wrestling at the moment, little in the way of punching being done. Here's the end-on shot, is it? Now there's Sorensen on the other side showing a bolo punch he must have seen Sugar Ray Leonard use yesterday on Durant. Now look at Lamb if you can, little number 6 there on the left. And suddenly, the camera moved to the right. He disappeared to the left for his moment. He was pulled out of the way. Here he goes. Rogers said, get off. Well, what does one say about that? Referee Danzy says penalty to Western Suburbs. That's what one says about it. Gitto with kick number 6. Yes, indeed. 16 points to 6. Western Suburbs with about 7 minutes to go.
Only 16 to 6. Could we have some official to remove those children from the playing field? Whoever took the quarter page, would they please put it back in its place, or else it will be taken from you and you'll be happily taken out of the battle. He's held by a Cronulla supporter. He is dressed in Cronulla gear. He has the quarter page. Would someone please?
Well, the spectators here are getting a little bit light-fingered. Somebody stole one of the corner posts.
Someone's leaving early. Take him with you.
Anyway, Western Suburbs in possession now. It's Cooper. He's busted one tackle. Can't unload the ball. 10 metres from halfway. Five goals and a try. 13 points to Ron Gitto. 2 tries to Western Suburbs. Lamb kicks for touch. Oh, did Edmund pointless. Landed just in front of him. A bit of tactical kicking there as the shadows lengthen right across the ground. Edmonds really had no hope with that one. It made him look bad, but there was never a chance he was going to half volley a kick driven as hard as that. Only Warren Boland can do that.
Mark Ella.
And perhaps Mark Ella. Maybe we might see him doing that in the rugby league field in the future sometime. Certainly an exciting player. I don't think any rugby league fans would be put out in any way if I congratulated our Australian Rugby Union side who defeated the All Blacks yesterday. It was great to see the young Australian team, particularly the three quarters, trying to be a little bit in the way of, use a little bit in the way of flair and attack. It was great.
North Sydney 11, Eastern Suburbs 11.
And Tom Arbour's done well today, Rex, and only his second premiership match with Western Suburbs in the top grade.
Yeah.
Only 22. He's a big lad, 16 stone 6, I believe.
Yes, he's going to be a big boy when he stops going, isn't he?
Certainly is, and of course he replaced a big man, Bruce Gibbs, who's about 17 stone.
Yeah, that's with only one leg on the scales too, Barry.
Yes. John Conley at 17.5 stone there. Certainly a big pack for Western Suburbs front row.
Cronulla ordinary team today. Welsh, high tackle but not dangerous. Boland came in high to stop the ball. He did that effectively. Burke, Malone, Rogers.
We're into the last 5 minutes now.
It's a lost cause, one would think. 16 to 6 for Cronulla. They just haven't shown anything. Last tackle coming up.
They could drop out of the 5 after today's results too, Rex. And it was a big game for them today because they've got hard games in the future. The Canterbury and St George, Balmain and Parramatta all in a row.
The player down on the back play. Western Suburbs.
I think it's John McLeod.
Gone down with cramp, has he?
Yes, and Donnelly's down also with cramp, close to where the scrum is being formed.
That's right. They don't want to put the scrum down without their other player, do they?
He's going into the back of the scrum, Johnny. Recovered rather quickly then.
Well, whose is it? Cronulla. Greg Cox came over there. Rogers. Now Edmonds. Yes, an incredible turnaround in the scrum situation. It hasn't helped Cronulla because they've not looked like doing anything in the way of scoring a try in this half, but they've won the second half scrum 7-3. Edmonds given an overlap. He's run out of a shoe. There's a pass back inside, and Rogers will score. Too little and too late, but he comes up with a try. Edmonds, bootless, has sent the pass back on the inside. And Lamb is being, now the touch judge is going to make that a 7-point try by the look of it. It is a 7-point try. I believe it is. Watch this. At that point, Edmonds went out of his shoe. No, it's not. Now the pass back in. Now watch Lamb, because he was reported for using an arm, or Donnelly, is it? No.
Maybe the incident was on Steve Rogers.
The Rogers kick and goal is just about to be taken now. We won't worry about that at the moment. I don't think it's going to make much difference to the game. There's the shoe coming off. Pass back inside. Rogers takes it. Now keep it running, because I want to see, as Donnelly comes around, Rogers is there. And the elbow from Rogers very nearly decapitated Lamb. It wasn't a 7-point try. It was a caution to Rogers for what he'd done at that point in time. The try has been allowed. The score is 16-11. A converted try in the dying stages could get them a draw. And we consider there's only about a minute and a half, or less than a minute to go. Pearce, the knock-on. The scrum now could be one of the last of the game. There's a penalty against Beckett. Barry, I was getting to the point of telling you about the remarkable turnaround of the scrum statistics. Roland Beckett has won the second half scrums by 7-3, having his number one hooker Pearson lose the first half 9-2. So overall they are 12-9 in West's favour. The penalties have gone very much Cronulla's way, 16-8.
Just Giddo kicking for touch as a place kick.
Well, that might be a little bit of a time waster. They're quite happy to have done what they've done today. A little bit of Jack Gibson injecting into Lidcombe over.
Canterbury 20, Newtown 8.
Cooper. There's the header in the background, and that's the ball game. We've got a scoreline that reads at the end. 16 points, Western Suburbs. They're still at the top of the competition table, or joint leaders. And Cronulla 11. Now, for the Western Suburbs side, 2 tries. One to Alan Neal and a try to Ron Gitto. The penalties, the kicks at goal have been 5 to Ron Gitto, and he's had a personal tally of 13 points, is correct. For the very disappointing Cronulla team, there have been 3 goals kicked from 6 attempts by Steve Rogers, or 7 attempts, I think it may be, and he's their sole point scorer. I will go through these statistics for you now, because they're quite interesting, just repeating them again. The penalties have gone very much Cronulla's way, 16-8. The scrums have gone Western Suburbs' way, 12-9 overall. But if I tell you that West's won the first half scrums 9-2 and lost the second half scrums 7-3 with a different hooker hooking for Cronulla, you'll be agreed with me, I'm sure, that rugby league is a very peculiar game about possession. Now, the turning points, or the highlights, or the lowlights, or whichever way you want to look at it, came in 2 incidents in the second half. In the 22nd minute, when Teddy Goodwin was sent from the field, and the Kurt Sorensen incident in the 27th minute. I'm going to be showing those to you a little later on. Talking to the Cronulla coach, Tommy Bishop, who looks a little bit dispirited to me. Is that the right word?
Disappointed, Rex, yes.
I haven't seen a lot of Cronulla this year, on a couple of occasions only. I've always been an admirer of Cronulla type of football, but is that the worst performance they've put up this year?
Well, we didn't play well at all, Rex. West looked as though they wanted to win that game. They played with more purpose, more enthusiasm, and far too good on the day.
Tommy, it appears to me that you've got a problem in your forwards, in that some of your players just don't get involved enough in the game. Do you agree with that or disagree with it?
Probably today, that's right, but, you know, we've got some good players in our side, and unfortunately we're not putting it together.
Some of the statistics that come out of the game are amazing. I'd like to just chat with you about them. You lost the first half scrums 9-2. Now, Pearson had some injury or other, or was replaced, or...
He had a bad neck, Barry.
All right, so off he comes at half-time. You put on your reserve grade hooker, Roland Beckett, and he wins the second half scrum 7-3. What do you deduce from that?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to put your finger on because Burry's won the scrums all year, but Rowland's a pretty good hooker, and he did a good job for us in the second half.
Now, that and alone was a hell of a hurdle to overcome, a 9-2 deficit at half-time, because both of the tries in the match were scored in the first half, weren't they?
Yeah, the first 10 minutes, that more or less sealed the game. It put us behind the 8 ball, and we'd never recovered from that.
Now, the penalty count overall was 16-8 Cronulla's way. With that amount of possession, 2-1, one would have thought this great attacking side of yours would have run in a few tries.
Yeah, well, playing against West, that's always the case, isn't it? There's a lot of penalties going. We didn't have any chance at all to get our game going. It was in the 25 and it was a penalty. You know, and that's one of the things that I think is a blot on the game. We blatant offside, blatant, and I'm not whinging now, I'm just looking at the game.
Holding down players and tackles when you make a tackling? You
saw the game, Rex.
I saw the game. I also saw Cronulla players squander a couple of golden opportunities.
Sure, yeah. As I said before, we didn't play well. We squandered a lot of chances, and we dropped the ball at vital times.
Paul Kahn has put your lock forward Dudman through on one occasion, right into the clear, and he went to ground with the ball.
Our support work was very bad. You know, we don't seem to be backing the man up with the ball, and, you know, a bloke like Paul Kahn in your side, he's a fellow who can do things with the ball.
All right, now that takes you out of the top 5. You're into 7th place now. Is that it for Cronulla this year?
No, not by a long shot. We've got a good side here, we've got some good players, and we've got to get a bit of shark spirit back, and I'm sure we can come back and be there at the end of the season.
Well, I wish you luck, Tom. It's going to be an uphill. Is it going to be a heavy week for the lads? They're going to have burning ears?
Oh, well, I don't know about heavy week. We've got to do a lot of thinking and a lot of thought going to build up for next week's game against Canterbury.
Thanks for talking to me, Tommy.
Thanks,
I know it's never easy when you've lost.
Very hard.
There's Greg Pearce, the skipper there. Can we have Greg over there for a moment? He's just getting himself out of the shower and coming on in. He'll be right. Thanks, Greg. There's a good lad. You can have a drink while you're on camera. There's no problems with it.
It's the right brand.
It's the right brand, whatever you like. I catch marlin with it. Listen, Greg, hit me if you like, but the Cronulla pack, to me, was totally outplayed by Western Suburbs today. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I'd say so. We played poorly today.
There seemed to be a marked lack of enthusiasm among some of you forwards to take the ball up to them. They seem to be belted out of it.
Well, not so much belted out of it. We went out there to play them a little bit wide early, and then we changed our pattern to bring them back in, but by that time we didn't have the enthusiasm to take the ball up. I didn't play with enthusiasm at all and didn't set example for anyone else, and I think everyone else took a back seat.
Yeah, well, of course, these clashes between Cronulla and Western Suburbs always give the spectators a thrill, because there's invariably some drama with players being sent off, and it's happened again today.
Oh, I can't comment on the incidents. Obviously, the referee saw them as he saw them and sent both players off, so at least it's even Stevens. That's a change for Cronulla these days.
What, do you reckon you're hardly done by?
I'd say so. But, you know, as I say, it's even Stevens today, so possibly we've got no complaints today.
Yeah. All right, Greg, well, one can't sympathise too much with a captain that's had a side that couldn't score a try with... against a side, well, they're a damn good side. Let's not make any criticism of Western Suburbs, but, you know, you had enough possession to win the game, perhaps, and enough possession to score a few tries, and he couldn't do either.
Yeah, we gave the ball back a hell of a lot. We just put so much pressure on ourselves by giving them back the ball, and we should have kept ball rolling along nicely. We just squandered it several times and let the pressure off completely.
All right. Thanks very much for talking to me. Not an easy job for coaches and captains when their side's beaten. It's easy enough to go into the winner's dressing room. The coach will beam at you and say, yes, come over to me and I'll talk. And the winning players, they'll do anything. They'll even sing on camera. I appreciate the Cronulla team letting us in here, the officials and coach, into the loser's dressing room. It's always like a morgue. And I've been in many in my time, I can tell you. But two exciting incidents in the way of drama took place. The first one, of course, was in the 22nd minute when Tenny Goodwin got his marching orders. And then only a short few moments later, in the 27th minute, curiously, the man that had been involved with the Goodwin incident, Kurt Sorensen, got his marching orders. Here are those incidents again. Kahn. Back inside. Sorensen leaves it behind, but no knock on, picks it up. And he got it away to Beckett. Beckett then to Rogers. Rogers, oh! For one moment, one thought of him going through that gap with that blistering acceleration of his. But at least was there. Good pass. Oh, it's not. Missed the man it was intended for. Oh! Goodwin off. I missed that. I was following the play.
He tackled Kurt Sorensen without the ball. Cox threw the pass intended for Sorensen, and Sorensen ran on the ball, and Goodwin hit him without the ball, and referee Danzy finished.
Well, and they're starting to As often happens when a team's got a player sent off, they've steamed themselves up. Neil, out to Cooper. Cooper goes sideways, half through the gap. Unloads nicely to Lamb. Lamb with that good little step of his, evades one, two tacklers, tackle. Jeffries, Gitto. Oh, he's backed. He's off. Kurt Sorensen's off. A high tackle, and there's Harbour patting Sorensen on the back and saying, off you go, mate. Our man of the match award went to Ron Gitto, the Western Suburbs centre, scored a try and really made it himself too. It was a fine one, a big dummy, and kicked 5 goals with that round-the-corner kicking style of his from 6 attempts. And I think it's as good a game as I've seen Gitto play in the centre. There was another player, of course, who came under consideration, and that is John McLeod, the second row, who had one of his better games too. But nonetheless, Gitto is the award winner and will appear on Sports World next Sunday to receive his award. Have a look now at the results of this round of football. St George 18, South Sydney 17 in a very close one. That was the Saturday game. West 16, Cronulla 11 in our game. North Sydney and Eastern Suburbs have played an 11-all draw. Parramatta 11 in a cliffhanger, defeated Balmain 10. Manly 20, not without a great deal of trouble, defeated Penrith 4. Nice round figure, like to read it off?
Yeah, 550.
That's not a bad afternoon's work, plus winning money.
Yeah, it's a good bonus.
It is a good bonus. Let's have a look now at Ron in action, because one of the intriguing things about you is your kicking style now. You're 5 from 6 last week, and I've seen you kick 6 from 7 on another occasion this year. Now, how long ago did you develop this round-the-corner kicking style?
Oh, well, it's only been this year that I've started this. I was practicing at training. You know, I was getting there early, and I just grabbed the ball and I just started kicking it around. And
why though? What reason?
Well, it was most comfortable. That I felt most comfortable at. Like I used to lay it down when I did me. When I was kicking before, and my approach and all that, I felt awkward and all that, and I used to get my approach or my run-up all, you could say, mixed up, yeah. Whereas I just feel comfortable this way. I can, just a couple of steps and I strike the ball. Well,
was there anyone influenced you to do it that way, or did you see somebody that you like, that you admire, that has a particularly good style of kicking, that and you followed him?
Oh, no, it's just like I said, it's just... I felt comfortable doing it that way.
You just missed the hook one. Did you see the hook one? Well, that's the only problem. When you guys hook, you really, when you miss one, you're really hooked, don't you? Yeah, well, there was earlier in the year that I was having a little bit of trouble, but I think I've ironed that out now, and like I said, it's starting to pay its rewards. You had a hell of a season last year with injury, didn't you? Yeah, it was in the fourth game, or in the MK Cup, actually. I dislocated my shoulder, and they virtually put me out for the year, but... Yeah. That's pulled up all right now. That's good. Let's have a look again at the try that you scored last week. That must have been a very embarrassing try, because so many people took the dummy. There was no try on, really, was there? Oh, well, as it turned out, it was for the best, but... Well, they're always for the best when you score a try. Yeah, I'm not suggesting you did anything wrong, but the guys that took the dummy wouldn't have enjoyed it. Looking back on that, well, they would think, heavens. No, well, if they probably had a look, there was probably one out there, and he wasn't. He was already marked, so... That's the way it goes. Anyway, Western Suburbs firing okay at the moment, leading the competition, joint leaders, and yeah, we're happy. Pretty high. We're happy to be up there. You know, I'd like to think that we've got more ability than enthusiasm, like some people seem to think. Yeah, right. Well, let's see you keep winning. That's the way. That's the yardstick. That just shoves it back down the throats of the critics, doesn't it? Yeah. Is that your lady or your wife over there in the studio? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, well, because the footballers get most things, we've got a very nice little gift for her. A beautiful gift basket of fruit from Melly Brothers Proprietary Limited. They're the fruit and providor, vegetable providors of 320 Pacific Highway. Already marked, so... That's the way it goes. Anyway, Western Suburbs firing okay at the moment, leading the competition, joint leaders, and yeah, we're happy. Pretty high. We're happy to be up there. You know, I'd like to... think that we've got more ability than enthusiasm, some people seem to think. Yeah, right. Well, let's see you keep winning. That's the way. That's the yardstick. That just shoves it back down the throats of the critics, doesn't it? Yeah. Is that your lady or your wife over there in the studio? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, well, because the footballers get most things, we've got a very nice little gift for her. A beautiful gift basket of fruit from Melly Brothers Proprietary Limited. They're the fruit and providor, vegetable providors of 320 Pacific Highway. Money chance of grab. The Jets, they couldn't have been more disappointing as they went down at Cumberland to the Eels of Parramatta. 33-9 is a massive loss and not a good recipe to stimulate a high level of confidence. Back today at Henson Park,
no doubt Warren Ryan will be looking for a major improvement. In a match where several players have played at one time or another with their opponents today, rivalry should be at its highest. And so with the players ready to take the field, John Coots looks at the team in today's big game between Wests and Newtown.
Thanks, Ray. Our first look at the Newtown Jets for the 81 Premiership, led out by the indomitable Tommy Rodonicus.